Hi everybody. For today we're going to do something a little different. I actually did a calendar for a gift for someone, and I had put pictures up on Scrapbooking with Me Boutique, and everybody was like, we need tutorials. So I started in June, and I'm just going to real quick go through the paper pack that I'm using. And the paper pack is by Graphic 45, and it is Time to Flourish is the name of it. And I know Graphic 45 comes out with different designs every year, where you have your calendar pages, and then you can see these have cutouts and other things that you can do to create a calendar. So on this paper pad is where you get your the date breakdowns, and on the flip side of it, there's usually like a pretty decoration where it has different sayings and words and stuff about that particular month. This is the sticker sheet, and then I believe this one's the chipboard. Yeah, this is the thicker. That's chipboard, and this one's chipboard, and then you get two sheets where there are tags and pockets that you could include as well. And then these also came with them, and those are the cards, and there's 2 per month, so it's 24 altogether, and we're going to be using that as well. Now our chipboard pieces here are going to be 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, because we're using the 8 by 8 pad of paper. Okay, and so if you cut out your chipboard pieces at 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, that'll give you a 1/4 inch edge all the way around. And then what I do is I flip my pages up as I'm putting it down, how the calendar is going to work. So right now what I just did was made sure when I think it's March down, when I flip it up, I want April to read correctly. And then on the top piece, we're going to now put the tape on the back side of the second April sheet, which will give us our dates, the days, Sunday through Saturday, and then all the squares where you could either put in dates or you can leave it blank. For the gift, when I gave it out, I tried to leave it blank because the idea for me would be that people would be able to reuse it. It wouldn't be just a one-year thing. So now I'm taping up my top piece because I'm using the back side of the calendar page as my the top of the calendar for the base of the decorations. And like I said, I was using the ATG gun, as you can see there. I really like using that tape to do this type of project and use the score tape. It would take a long time to put that much tape down, so the ATG gun works really well here. And then I'm gonna flip it up the way it would lay for when we go to bind it all together. And I want to say this is the final month, so this is me just finishing up with December. And then we're gonna put the calendar page on there. On this particular one, I ran out of black chipboard, so I had to cover it with the black paper, and I didn't have to cover the whole thing because obviously the calendar page is going to go on top of it. So as long as I had enough to create the black edge and so that it would look uniform with the other chipboard pieces, I was good. And we just glued it down. Alright. And then real quick, I'm just going to show you. So this is the top page, and then that's how it's going to be on the ring. So when you turn the page up, just double checking to make sure that all my pages were put on correctly, nothing was upside down or facing the wrong direction. Because I tried to keep everything in the order for, using it with the cinch machine. doing a quick flip through so you can see all the colors. I love these groups that Graphic 45 does. It's a really, really beautiful set. Now this is the actual cinch machine. The one that I have creates square holes instead of the typical round. I'm just trying to show you a close-up right there. Alright, and how it works is I did the first step, which is, you know, because the page is longer than what is actually, you know, in that cinch section, that first section, I did all my 1 punches, and then you can see the piece that's been extended out, which allows you to finish the rest of the page, so that way you have a continual, you know, square holes that line up. And if you are interested in maybe a tutorial or something on just the cinch machine, just leave a comment down below, and maybe that's something that, you know, I can take a look into. The best part about the cinch is that on the side, that's where you connect your ring. And when you put the ring on the side, you can then begin to load in your pieces for binding. And I'm trying to move it up here so that way you can see it more in the photo, or in the camera screen. And it just popped off, and it's pretty easy. I just put it right back on and make sure that everything is still, you know, going on correctly. And I actually started from the end of the calendar and I'm working my way towards the front. So when I get to the end, I'll have January and then the top. And right there, all I did was cut off the extra ring that I didn't need. It was too long, so I just cut it right up by where the chipboard ends. And then you have the rings. So once you do that, on the back side, the very back side here that's facing me more, is the piece where you actually press down and it brings the ring together, which is the cinching part. It brings it together so that way whatever you've put on there doesn't just slip off. Alright, and for me, when I was putting it on, because it was a little bit thicker with all the sheets, that's the reason why I was pressing it a little bit more, because I wanted to make sure that everything was laying right and that it would flip up and work properly. So this is just real quick showing you how it flips up and everything is working really well. And there you have it. Yeah, I'm just going to press it one more time because it wasn't laying quite right. And it was, to be honest, kind of hard with the camera and trying to make sure I was in screen. Now these sheets that I'm showing you here, they're a part of the 12 by 12 paper pack, and what I do is I cut these apart. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. And when you see what we do with putting it into the calendar, I think you guys will love it. Thank you for joining me, and there'll be a part 2 to this coming up next.